Hello and welcome. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I'd like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. Procyon, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of our podcast network and everything we do. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Rennell Jump and UConn legendary men's basketball player Jake Voskuhl. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large or small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return on your taxes. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, car accident, your mother-in-law ran you over with her car, your wife got angry one night and decided to stab you, the Finch Firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all across the state of Connecticut. He will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. You just have to remember, in a pinch, call Finch or go to his website, thefinchfirm.com. Dynamic Human Performance is owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, all sports. He has a boot camp program 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape, you go to Andre. He has an athletic development program where he trains boys and girls in the sport of their choice from the ground up, helps them reach their full potential, be the best they can possibly be. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship for all different types of sports. To work with the best, he has a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility in Hartford, Connecticut. Go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. All right, and here we are for Broker Than You. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. With me, as always, the king of real estate in Erie, Pennsylvania, Laban Marsh. And he's
good to see you, brother.
I always
this is a Saturday morning.
We have people who keep track of your facial hair. It's great. It's like
I'll try to be clean shaven next week to give a true picture of the baby face I try to have.
I love it because people like keep track of how you change your look every week. It's amazing how important it is. We have Fresh himself, Nedvonne Young, entrepreneur extraordinaire, owner of Fresh Fold Laundry Co. in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And I just got accepted fresh into the Chapel Hill business group on Facebook.
Nice.
Because of your work. So thank you. And we have James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance in Bergen County, New Jersey, but he is all over the place. And he just had some wonderful pictures from Niagara Falls. James, great to see you as well.
What up, James? Back
to see you, brother.
Back in the fold. What's going
on? This is so much better. I was just on my Husky Hoops podcast with Joe and Maria, and Joe just yells at me. It's great.
Yeah. We'll love on you. We'll love on you here, brother. We appreciate you.
I get every question I ask, I get nervous, and
with his response,
he'll yell. Yeah, he'll get pissed. He'll yell at me, and it's not me. I'll ask questions that I get sent. So
yeah, you're not the source. You're the source of the source. That's what you always want to be.
That's what I try to explain. But he got mad because somebody asked if UConn's resume is inflated because they play in the Big East Conference. And, it's obviously a weaker conference and not as much competition.
You play who you play. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
No script. There's no script.
Creighton will be a good test tonight, though. I mean, the thing is, because Drew, he played his first playoff game last night. They ended up losing, unfortunately. He got in towards the end, hit a 3 to bring them within 5, and then they just couldn't hold off this really strong team, of which their leading scorer is a family friend. So I love to see their success. But we played the Harbor Creek Huskies, so part of I couldn't wear anything UConn, which had a Husky on it. I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious. So I didn't have any Husky gear, and we ended up losing. But, it's in that playoff time, how are you going to play against the competition? If you should be beating teams by 20, you better beat them by 30. I mean, so it doesn't so much matter who you play. And when you're a team like UConn, you get a target on your back, dude. And the question is, can you handle that?
Super Bowl. Yes.
Because look at what happened to Arizona when they lose a tough match to Kansas, and then they go and lose to Texas Tech, I think, later that week on just being down, which is similar to football and Penn State's situation. And then once you start getting your teeth kicked in, it's hard to recover. So I'm okay with UConn dropping a couple this time of year, but when you get into Big East play, I mean, it is you gotta dominate, and you gotta be ready to dominate.
Yes,
it'll be interesting. So I mean, big guy. If Reed gets in trouble, that the young big guy seems to be playing better. So
Ryba, yeah, he is.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. But one of the things that Fresh had texted, and I know you'll have some questions, Steve, but I'm in a somewhat uncomfortable outfit right now. You can see this little collar here.
Yeah. You got like a sweater vest on.
Listen, dude, I am going to reveal something that either is going to break the internet or get me an invoice from the University of Connecticut. Because today marks the 25-year anniversary of my Big East 60-meter dash title and pole vault.
Yes.
So this picture here of the race, and my parents put away that speed suit.
Oh, you still have it.
The team, listen, but the track guys in the late 90s, there was a speed suit that was very unique, very sought after, and I happen to have one. And more than that, I happen to fit in it.
Yes.
So this could break the internet, right? I got to stand up because I don't want to show my belly. But listen, this is the dopest speed suit.
You have it on. Oh my
God! It has zip. It has zip, right?
From 25 years ago,
bro. Yes, I would listen.
Wow, he still fits.
His Huskies down the side, still fit, bro.
God damn,
still fit. But listen. This was the most sought after speed suit for the track team. Like if you ran the 4x1, you got to wear it. Distance guys, sorry, no chance, pal. This is sprinters, jumpers.
How many were made?
I don't know, and I don't know how many are left.
Okay.
But I also have a photo of Mark Campoli in this very speed suit. So I think that's why I can fit into it now, 25 years later. He stretched it a little bit.
That I wish there was a picture of.
I used to tell I do have a picture. Okay. I'll find it and send it to you. But listen, that was the most sought after speed suit. And I would always run prelims in the cross country shorts and loose top just because I didn't look like I belonged on the 60-meter dash line. But one of the things that I want to stem off of that, because transitioning from now winter sports to spring sports, they start in March, but like Drew's last game was last night. Tonight we have pole vault practice and he's going to come for the first time. I had 3 travel ball coaches reach out to me and say, hey, I'd love Drew to play on our team, but he said he's running track this year. All 3 of these coaches said, and I think that's awesome. I think it's great. You know what I mean? He's a great athlete. He needs some time away, but they're like, if he has a weekend where he's not competing, we'd love to have him do on his team. But like,
that's good.
That is the biggest challenge for kids, athletes, and even parents is the persuasiveness of coaches where, like, I sincerely know they all want to get Drew better, but like, I just firmly believe that multi-sports are similar to what we were talking about in business for us now. Is you have your core business that you love and you nurture, but it's okay to have another gig that you pursue revenue from. Yes. And like a multi-sport athlete, people that have multi-businesses, it's something that is difficult to handle with the time management and where do I give my energy, money even. And yet I think it's so valuable to have those opportunities and experiences, different social environments, a team sport to an individual sport. And I just, as we've talked about the different opportunities for business and revenue streams as businesses, ancillary or otherwise, like when Mackenzie played basketball, it helped her volleyball. When she played volleyball, it helped her basketball, her footwork. These linemen looking at their footwork, shot put, discus, hammer. This is all good footwork. So I was so encouraged. As you know, he had a freshman year with a lot of JV run, some varsity run. That's like 2 sports in one season.
Big, yeah.
So like you need to take a break. And again, when he goes to vault tonight, it's very simple, just getting familiar with the pole vault and everything. I don't have any expectations. In fact, you need to take a few weeks off from anything and everything, I believe.
You do. Recovery is almost as important as the workout itself.
Yeah. So and we know that now. And so, again, I was just encouraged because I hear so many parents say, oh, the coaches, they say they won't play next year if they don't do this in the off season. And it's like, you know what? If a coach knows you're working towards getting better and staying fit, 95% of them are supportive of it. And like, I like to go watch my athletes compete in other sports and support them in that. So I didn't mean to rant, and I didn't want to, I don't know how many times that video has been posted of my race. But, most people look at that and it's like, wow, what an achievement. I think about all the years of when no one's watching, putting in the grind, the summers, the winters, the mornings. Like, that's where when you can look back on your efforts and know I could not have done anything more, it's so much easier to walk away and just be thankful for the opportunities you got. So, enough about me.
Okay. Well, Laban, you got a question that applies to everyone. Basically, what would you say is the single biggest lie that people you deal with tell themselves when they want to diversify in real estate, whether it's purchasing another property, purchasing a commercial property, getting a rental property? What would you say they tell themselves?
Okay, repeat that question though. What should they tell them?
A lie that they tell themselves when they want to diversify in real estate, whether it's commercial or buying a property.
They lie to themselves about thinking they don't know enough about it, because so much of any business is systems like we've talked about, and then having the right people in place to sub a lot of the things that you're not good at. You can learn so much about businesses, but understanding your strengths and weaknesses so that you can implement the right people, the right systems to cover that. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for our network, who we know, who can help you and mentor you through that process. Because as all of us sit here, essentially as mentors to somebody, whether you know it or not, I mean, we all didn't know what we didn't know until we sought out that information, and then process of, right, going through that and see what works best for you. So I think seeking advice is the easiest thing to kind of quell that lie that you tell to yourself that I don't know enough about commercial. I don't know enough about residential. I don't know enough about investment or vacant land or storage units or laundry. Find the people who do. Have coffee, have lunch. I promise you they will share a lot of their knowledge and the foot traps that have impeded them from doing something quicker.
Fresh, what would you say to that as far as entrepreneurs go? The biggest lie that they tell themselves, because entrepreneurs always want to diversify in the different types of businesses they want to get into.
Well, I would say it's kind of in alignment with what Laban is saying, has mentioned, in a little bit of a different way. When people tell themselves, they lie to themselves that they can do it all by themselves, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right,
that's
like,
the other side of the coin.
That's kind of the, it's like, oh, you don't know. No, you know enough to do it, but you don't know everything. And as he mentioned, you need systems. You need a team of some sorts. You need somebody who's an expert in certain areas so that you don't have to make these, on a smaller scale. It's like, tens of $1,000s mistakes to when it gets big, it could be, a 6-figure mistake.
Yeah.
Plus. And when you're doing that, and when you're trying to diversify, and you're working with a group of people, like you can use other, you could lose not just your money, but other people's money. And primarily, if you think you can do it all yourself, you're going to, for the most part, lose mostly your money. But it's very important, especially if you are in a position where other people's money, or if you are putting yourself in a position to where you can lose your shirt just by yourself, you have I want to say you don't shoulder all of the load yourself when you have teammates, right? When you have investors, when you have people that can bring something else to the table where it's not all on you. So I think that's one of the biggest lies, and they tell themselves that I could do it all by myself.
And they want to. James, we talked about this risk in your profession. How do you go through pricing risk when you're underwriting a deal for a person and assessing, the value of that risk that they're taking, with whether it's health, whether it's lifestyle, and when you put it in with the underwriting of your policies?
The price is dictated upon age and health.
Right.
And lifestyle. So if I have somebody who's, I'm going to say, like, live a vanilla life, they're in a perfect, have perfect health or what have you.
They can fit in a tracksuit from college.
Hey, man, that is a true picture of health right there. 25 years after.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to break 10 seconds into 60 though.
I
used to run track, and after I had knee surgery, I can't even run. So it's like it's.
But something like that is different than obviously a heart murmur, something that you might find that if it cut your athletic career short, it also could impede your insurance and investments via that.
Absolutely. So, if you're a guy who likes to go skydiving or scuba diving or anything, then your risk is through the roof. So there was a case where I forgot his name. I think I don't know if it was Dale Earnhardt or something, but it was a race car driver who was insured with a particular company, and the agent was under scrutiny because the agent made a lot of money off this guy, but it wasn't the agent's fault. The agent did what he was told to do, but the reason why this guy's policy was so high, he's a race car driver, and he can afford. He can afford the higher insurance rate, but I don't think he realized he was paying a higher rate. Because he was looking at his policy and was like, well, where's all my money? But he never gave the agent time to let the policy mature. He kept changing the subject. He kept changing. He said to the guy, hey, I want to be in this particular policy or this particular plan. And the guy made a good chunk of money, the agent, because you know, it was a race car driver, you know,
Sure.
and not for nothing, which surprises me that the insurance company backed the agent.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is surprising.
yeah.
But I mean,
but it's all recorded.
You don't necessarily have that much discretion. If they have certain issues, it is what it is with the underwriting, right?
Yeah, it is what it is.
That's what I figured. And then what would you say is a hidden cost agents always understate maybe to outsiders? And how do you manage that when you're writing a policy?
I don't think there's hidden costs. It's more like I have some people who will ask me, well, how much am I making on this deal? And I'm like, because they're like, oh, I'm paying a whole lot of money. You know, how much are you making? You know, and I don't disclose it. I can't.
No.
You know, I can. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think that's anyone's business. And we were talking about that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, don't get Steve started. Don't get Steve started.
Fresh, can you tell us about maybe a project that you were working on where you had some community opposition towards it, or that may have changed the economics? And if so, did you learn anything from it? Either when, putting up a new business or purchasing real estate.
Nothing recent comes to mind. I have been a part of certain things like in the past, but nothing really. But I would say what typically happens when you do have issues with, say, the community, it's when people feel that certain things that they have access to or certain things that they're privy to is infringed upon. So, for instance, let's just say like when we owned our co-op in Brooklyn, when I first had my space, I had a view of the East River. So water views, I had a Manhattan skyline and water view. That was a premium. That came with a premium.
Yeah.
Right? But what happened is people at my co-op got upset at the co-op because the co-op sold away our air rights.
I hate the co-ops.
So they sold the air rights, which meant everybody who, we got this place, you had this wonderful, water, sky, Manhattan skyline view, you're going to lose that. So they sold the air rights. I think it was like $15 million. This is back in, I think they sold them in like 2011, 2012. Right before we moved to Maryland.
Don't you get a piece of that because you're a part owner of the co-op? Are you serious?
So here, we don't get, because it's the difference. Like, so the difference between a co-op and a condo. A condo, you actually own the real estate. You own that apartment. You can kind of, for the most part, do whatever you want to do within that condo of the actual space it represents. A co-op, you own shares in a company that represent the space.
Right.
So if we own 760 shares, that represented what our apartment was. Let's just say if each share was the equivalent of a square foot. So we had a 760 square foot apartment. We had 760 shares. And those shares, each share was worth X amount. But that's all that gave us is the right to have the space. Now we had a whole bunch of issues. If we wanted to do stuff, we had to get a whole bunch of permissions.
Yeah, that's why
it's really annoying with co-ops. With condos, you may have to get. You can kind of still do what you want, but to not
disturb
the greater good, you might have to acquiesce on some stuff. But for the most part, you can do whatever you want. So, but getting back to when you sell the air rights away, of course, the community was upset because you're going to lose stuff. Because now my apartment is worth more because I have the views. But now my apartment is just as equivalent as what the apartments that had the front view that was looking at LIU's campus.
So you lost value.
Manhattan skyline. Right? So you have issues like that. So now for me, if I'm a developer and I wanted, now say if I was a developer that purchased the land that wanted to build now, which I think behind that building now is like a 50 story building, which we didn't even have back in the day. We didn't have those in Brooklyn. Like the largest building was like maybe 30 stories. So, but now you go downtown Brooklyn, I think you have over 100 stories. So so as a developer, if you're doing a bigger deal and you want to build a bigger structure because you know it's going to yield more revenue, more things, I might approach the co-op and say, hey, what would it cost to sell these air rights so I can build higher? And they're gonna give me a number, and if it makes sense, if it makes dollars make sense, and then that's what you'll do. So I would say that's an example of something on somewhat of a larger scale, but that also can happen on a smaller scale. If you wanted to build, that's why certain communities you see they'll have like ranch style houses or apartments, and then garden style. Like it won't go past garden, right? Which is like almost like a split level, where almost kind of lower townhouse type stuff. So you can run into those issues because people don't want certain things to come in the neighborhood because it changes things. So that I would say that's kind of just things that I've been in.
Yeah.
Other than that, just in the cleaning business, it's tough with dry cleaners. So being a launderer, you also deal with dry cleaning stuff. So dry cleaners get a bad rap because of the chemicals that it puts into the community, and people don't like it.
And I was thinking when this came up, UConn, because we wanted to build the stadium on campus, and the community fought it because they didn't want traffic on 195. That was the biggest holdup between it.
No, just to touch on that, to be clear, and they might remember this too. Remember, how do you get to UConn? How big is that road?
It's one road.
It's 2 lanes. It's 2 lanes. One in the right lane.
Yeah.
So what would have happened is what happens in most places. It would have been eminent domain. People would have lost at least parts of their property, if not all of certain properties, because they would have to stretch the highway.
Oh,
well,
so
and
they would have to stretch the road. So they would have lost.
And I mean, even with to a certain extent, depending on the planning, and this is where we have our school district is looking at combining elementary schools into one site, and I don't know if they've done proper studies on what that does to the capacity for sewer, things like that. And a lot of times people just don't think about that, whether it's zoning or infrastructure needs and demands. And I've said that before with the sewer authority, there was a local chip plant, like potatoes into potato chips, and the starch and the clean out of that it just gums up a sewer system. So they're required certain processes, and then it requires so much water. Even Lord Corporation over here has to recycle their water because they have to find a way to consume less of the water, just generally speaking, not to mention the cost of it. So there's a ton of those factors that a lot of people don't look into when they're trying to do and have grand ideas. And then you get into air rights and OGM, oil, mineral, and gas rights are a whole nother, animal. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we've talked about before, just that due diligence for you. So,
Laban, what would you say is a potential negotiation tactic that you have used that most agents would never admit to using?
I mean, I think negotiation tactics, the best one that I have shared, and a lot of people kind of thought I was crazy until we were at a conference in Nashville, and a very prominent agent out of Canada was just talking to us after one of the meetings and said that he does the same thing. And again, it's in different markets. That thing being, when you are a seller and you are selling anything, homes in particular, but anything, You put it at a price, and then if somebody offers you lower than what you're asking, right? I'm marketing this product at say $300,000, and I get a $250,000 offer. The seller, instead of being offended by the low offer, be offended by all the people that didn't like it enough to even make an offer. But what would you like to counter this at? Right. And so they're asking 300. They offered 250. If my seller says, I want to counter it in the middle, let's say 280, because most buyers offer in a way that they meet in the middle, which would be 275. So if I'm representing the seller, you're willing to accept and counter an offer, let's go at 280. But if you're going to offer this buyer 280,000, right now I'm showing you at 300,000 in the market. Okay. Why don't we counter this buyer at 280,000? And if you're willing to take 280 today, let's adjust the price in the MLS to 285 so that the other buyers who've been looking at this house and it's been at 300, and now you adjusted it to 285, you might have 3 or 4 buyers that schedule appointments right now. Yeah. And I always tell the buyer's agents, I said, listen, let your client know they're going to see a price improvement. And I use price improvement, not price reduction for obvious purposes, price improvement. We're going to make a price improvement to 285, but we're still offering your buyer the 275 or 280 counter. Okay. They offered 250. We countered 280 and I adjusted the price from 300 to 285 in the MLS. What does that do? It creates urgency, both for the buyer who made the offer, but it also opens somebody might have said, you know what? Pull me up homes 250 to 299. I don't want to see anything with a 3 in front of it. So nobody's seen this home until it gets under 2, with a 2 in front of it. So whether you go to 299 or 285, and a lot of times because of the age of the internet, if you search for anything, you usually search 50s, 100s, right? 200, 250, 200 to 300. So the people that do what we call merchandising to 299, okay, but you just missed the buyer from 3 to 350. So price it at 300, price it at 310, 315, at 350 instead of 349.9. And there is a point where, okay, you lower it to the 349.9 because it makes you feel better. But if you're searching the internet, you're missing out on somebody searching 350 to 650. I know it sounds crazy, but at some point, what's their bottom? And if their bottom misses your top because you're at 399 instead of 400, you're missing a few buyers. So that's a little bit of tying in from a seller's perspective when you're not getting over asking price offers. And I think that's where we're starting to see this in the market where, okay, I'm asking and now I'm getting lower offers. What do I do? Well, you counter it, but don't just counter the buyer who offered low. Offer a discount to everybody. If you're telling me you'll take this discount today.
Yeah. That's smart. That's really smart.
But most sellers say that's very logical. And I had a buyer's agent get angry and say, well, that's stupid. I would have just had my buyer wait to make an offer until you lower the price. And I said, no, you're stupid because I would not have to lower the price if your buyer didn't offer too low. Like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, but that's where you repeat back what somebody says so they can hear how stupid they sound. It's amazing. It works wonders.
It does. It does. James, what about you? What would you say a negotiation tactic you use that most agents would not admit to using?
Oh, I tell my clients, like, I got one guy who has diabetes. I can insure him, but because his A1C is so high.
Yeah, you said double digits. You can't do.
He's like at a 7 or 9. I says, take your medication, and it'll come down. I can't do anything about pricing. You're cheating yourself. That's what I tell people. Pay what you want, but you're cheating yourself.
Yeah. No, that's true.
You're cheating yourself.
Take your meds, lower your A1C, and you're absolutely right.
Come back to me in 6 months. Take your medication. Come back to me in 6 months. Then I'll put you through.
And you can get insured.
That's right. This is what it is. And like the one guy, he got turned down by 4 different carriers, and I said, bro, it's your diabetes. Your A1C.
If you're double digits,
it's not the trumpet, it's the player.
Yeah. Stop drinking Kool-Aid.
Absolutely.
Stop eating Skittles.
Yeah. Yeah, just cut back on sugar. That's
take your medication. Come back to me in 6 months.
Exactly.
Well, but honestly, part of that it's about delaying gratification. And again, I think with your health, I mean, you delay gratification until you aren't kicking. I mean, you can only delay that gratification of living the lifestyle. And I think that's the biggest challenge. Like, well, I was young, I could eat like this.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like I would go to bed with double stuffed Oreos and a tall glass of milk. Now I just take a tall glass of milk to bed. But honestly, I mean, if you don't realize that you can't do the things you once did, I mean, again, you're not delaying gratification. You have to learn that. And again, that's not to say you can't have a giant piece of cake of sugar. In fact, I was at a pole vault conference or meet, and one of the coaches looks at his watch. He's like, "Oh, I can go get a donut." So he comes back. I'm like, "Bro, what was that about?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a diabetic, but when I see my number, I can go eat." So it's like, I don't know, use some sort of reward system. But that's where he said he didn't. It was since he was in high school, and he didn't take care of himself to where now it's become so much more of a problem. I was thrilled to see his joy and excitement when he was able to get a donut. It's just one of those things where you have to figure out a way to reward yourself by delaying that immediate gratification that we all yearn for, the dopamine rush, kick, whatever else. I mean, it's such a big part of your health, your life, your business, your everything. Be willing to put that work in and wait for the return. Yeah.
Fresh, basically for you, how do you decide to basically compete on your pricing versus product versus distribution? Because you offer such a high-end service, and the price is competitive, and you have to also deal with distribution of the product.
Well, I would say it goes to like anything else. It goes into the research on the front end. You need to know your market, know your competition, you need to know your numbers, right? And once you know your numbers,
what the average, right?
And you know the value of your service,
right?
Then your price, you should price it accordingly. And you should price like anything else. Like how you play to win, you price it to win. I price it to win. I price it to win, to turn a profit, not to be. I don't want to be seen as a discount service. I want to be seen as a quality service.
You want to have value.
People like and they need and they want, like James mentioned, like it's a valuable service. And once people have valuable service and it's something that they feel that they need, and then eventually, hopefully, something that they don't feel that they can do without, because it changes their quality of life.
Yeah,
it don't really matter what the price is. They're going to pay it, right? They want it.
Yeah. Value over cost every day. Yeah. Value over cost every day.
Yeah. So
as long as
and that's the kind of people who I want to deal with. And then, and that's just from a that standpoint. But as a business professional, I'm moving more to like focus on like kind of bigger like contracts and bigger company type stuff. So I still will service, we still service our, your neighborhood people in your local businesses, but
you want the hotels, you want the bigger
you want the bigger contracts, the government stuff, you want that.
Yeah.
Fresh, what does that look like as far as your internal growth? Is that more vehicles? Is that more manpower? I mean, where would your bottleneck become if you were to acquire, a 200 unit facility or something like that, as far as linens or something of that nature? I mean, what do you need to gear up for? Is it people, or is it like
you just said
equipment?
It's people. It'll be people because it's always the people, because for instance, like if I got a big contract now, I don't have a big facility, and that doesn't matter. I could
do it
to make sure I could fulfill the contract. I could lean on someone else in the industry and be like, hey, what would you charge to do this contract? And they say, hey, I'll charge this to do the contract. And I basically sub it out. Okay, I'll get 15 to 20%, whatever the difference is. And if I could win the contract, and I know they're like, oh, they could do it because they have a bigger facility, their numbers are down. So something that would cost me to do it, it might even be cheaper for me. I might make more money because look, I don't have to do other than the accounting and the bookkeeping and stuff, and they do the work.
The biggest, and I don't mean to cut you off, the biggest thing that I would be concerned about, especially with having established yourself as such a high quality product, is that if you're just a pass through hiring a sub, is there quality control? Like, you know what I mean? Like if the client gets it and you haven't seen it because it never came through your process,
it'd have to be him.
You just have to make sure that, you know what I mean, they're delivering the same level of service and product that you've been providing.
It's done.
And that's why you know that on the front end. You're like, you know who's doing what. This is why you have, like how we talked about in the beginning when the first question was, when you mentioned like, all right, it's about your systems and processes you have in place. And then I mentioned it's about not doing it on your own. So in the process of doing that, like, probably, if not just about all, if not all your competition in the area. Right. And some of them you won't consider competition, you may consider your contemporaries, right? Your people who you may, you might be like, look, you might not specialize in one little pocket that somebody else is they focus on that pocket. And you'd be like, hey, we could do it for you, but it might be, it'd be better if you go talk to Margie and them down there because they actually have all of the tea on that particular area. Yeah. So for me, I focus more on the high end stuff. But if I won a contract that was, say, a government contract that it was towels and linens, I can have a service that they do towels and linens. They do it to the T. Like they're gonna do it better than I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna hire them because they're gonna do it better.
That's really what you want, right?
And that's what you want. So then it's like, okay, I don't have to really do anything, and I'll make 20% of whatever of that contract. And you're talking about when these contracts, they get into some really good numbers, right? You're talking about, you're in the 7-figure contracts.
Yeah.
Like, so the numbers is like 15-20% of that is fine.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
And all you do is you just go for the next contract. So I got this one, let me get the next one. And that's what happened. It's like one thing begets the next thing. One sale begets the other sale. That's what it's always your first, right? You want to get your first sale. You want to get your first deal done. That's what begets the next deal. Because then you have a proof of concept. You have a body of work that people can relate to. Now you have your reviews. Exactly. Oh, Laban at Marsh was amazing. He was great. He did this. He showed. He was very practical. He's a straight shooter, right? And he's clean shaven. And they'll, what I'm saying? Like they'll do all of that stuff. And then now you have a ton of reviews. And then that's what relates, right? So that's how it goes.
All right. I'm going to play this and I hope it's correct. Down south, we have Julius Williams and the Trench Mob located in Decatur, Georgia. They train offensive and defensive linemen. They compete in 5v5 tournaments and college showcase camps across the country. They have sent kids to schools like Florida, Florida State, Miami, Clemson, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, just to name a few. If you want to be trained by the best, you work with the Trench Mob. Julius has a virtual program. He can train you anywhere in the country, and they will make sure they have the highest percentage of kids that go Division I. Go to their website, trenchmobfootball.com, and sign up now. Nedvonne Young owns Fresh Fold Laundry Company located in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. High-end laundry service. You book online. You put your laundry out in a clear plastic bag. They pick it up, wash, dry, fold it for you in 48 hours. They have an expedited service that can do it faster. They also offer an online subscription model, weekly or bi-weekly. So you can have your laundry done that way whenever you want. They have deals for college students as well. So make sure to check out their website. It is my-freshfoldlaundry.com.
Bingo. Got it.
Is that right?
No.
What? Wait.
I'm gonna just tell you what this is. Look, I'm gonna put it in the chat because you just
It's not.
What happened is he's thinking laundry. He just added. It's just my fresh fold. It's my
Freshfold.com.
fresh fold.
Wait, it's
freshfold.com.
It is my dash. Oh, you said laundry at the. I just was checking for the my
He said
dash.
laundry at the end, and that's it.
Oh.
So that's all. But no, it was
fourth time.
It was great. No, Steve, that was great. I didn't want to say anything. I was like, I'm gonna just leave it. But so I just put it in the chat. That's all it is. Like
fourth time's the charm.
My-freshfold.com.
I just put it in the chat, and you just
I paused right before I said it, and because I was nervous.
I was like, it was coming out. Everything was coming out smooth. I was like, this is great. You got it. And he said, my fresh fold. I was like, all right, just say .com. I was hoping .com right after. Then it said laundry. I was like, I got you,
bro. All I'm saying is you better go to GoDaddy and buy my-freshfoldlaundry.com. Just do it. Just direct them both
right
to the site.
Yeah.
Go to Namecheap. It's cheaper.
It was funny because Julius's website changed too. So I had to do it again and read. I'll get it right.
You gotta add another year to my experience.
That's I do. I do have to put the 5. I have to put it to 4 years now. That's true. That is absolutely true. So this applies to everyone. Laban, what metric would you say that real estate agents obsess over that actually is maybe too much or misleading or not as important?
Production based on volume. No idea. Like and it is so irrelevant to the business. It's a marketing ploy. And I say that only because the general public, when you say I sold 12 million in real estate, they don't know what that means. Volume is if I sell a $500,000 house, let's make it even more complicated. I represent the seller and I'm a dual agent, so I also represent the buyer. So I can sell a $500,000 house and get $1 million in volume because I represented both sides. So now I say I'm $1 million seller and I sold one house for $500,000 to both sides. So like that doesn't the question when we talk business, and I'm not going to get into percentages or whatever else as far as that goes for listing agents, but what you keep as far as charging based on the sale price is gross commission income. So when I'm talking to agents, all they should care about is their gross commission income, but they often think of the NOI, which is net operating income, which is a factor of your expenses. So gross commission income is what you take home from your brokerage and no, it's not profit. It's your total revenue as an agent. So it's the amount I will 1099 you. And to give you an example of the difference between gross commission income and volume is, let's say the traditional $100,000 house sells for 6%, right? That's $6,000 in gross commission income with $100,000 in volume. So $6,000 of income, $100,000 in volume. Yeah. So now when somebody says I sold $10 million in volume, it's like, okay, well, how much did you actually make?
You're right.
And that's where it's very different. So the biggest misperception, and we have some local agents that will include, like we have a property management division. So every time I rent one of my homes for $2,000 a month, I include that 12-month lease, $24,000 as additional volume.
Right.
When it's around. So a lot of those volume numbers that, when we've talked about the billboard, I want to do one that says, we're not number one, you are.
Number one, you are. Yeah.
What are you waiting for?
The client,
get it done, Larry.
I know. Well, I don't believe in billboards. Although I will tell a quick story. And Listen, right down the road on Peach Street, there are 2 rival car dealerships, really big rivals, and these guys are making big money. Well, there was a billboard where the one car company put up a big billboard, but it's right on the boundary of the northern car dealership. I'm not kidding. The car dealership to the north planted 2 tall trees that cover the billboard of which his competitor paid for.
Oh, I love this guy.
Yes, but listen, yesterday in the nasty weather, they had a JLG lift moving the actual billboard about 200 feet south onto their property so that the trees that the other competitor planted no longer obstruct. I mean, and the lot was like a $12 million purchase. So you are talking about measuring sticks of one's manhood based on planting trees and billboards. It absolutely blew my mind to where the billboard that's on it right now has the owner of the one car dealership looking around 2 trees that are on the billboard, kind of spoofing them actually planting trees. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen in marketing, and it's not even being marketed. It's a quiet rivalry that only us in Summit Township even know about. That's wild.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
James, what would you say a metric is that, agents may obsess over that may actually be not as important or misleading to them?
How much money they got in commissions, like how much they sold.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that's something that's not as important or can be misleading?
Yeah, because that's what you did yesterday. It's not what you
Oh,
what you
that's
did
true. Yeah, that's true.
Well, but James, you're exactly right, because we have had sellers whose home is not selling actively on the market. And when you will go out there and tell them how you sold this, they look at it and say, but you haven't sold mine, dude.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. So you do have to be careful. That's right. That's the old Proverbs 27:1. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you know not what the day may bring.
That's right. It's
Isn't that
like
from the Bible.
Yeah, it is Proverbs. Bro. Open it up.
I can say, I made $100,000 a month in sales. All right. So what about today? Well, what are you doing?
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I for one, I don't go that's a metric I don't go off of. I'd rather say, hey, I helped X amount of people this month.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes.
I have never felt more like the Skip Holtz mantra of don't count them, make them count. Because in winter, that's exactly what you're talking about. In winter workouts, if they said, what number are we on? If you ask coach what number you were on, it's 0.
It would kill you. Yeah.
Don't count them, make them count. Yeah. That's a great philosophy, James.
I had a day one time I sold $50,000 in products, right? But that doesn't help. I mean, granted, it goes towards what I did for the month, but I don't rest on my laurels. I just keep going. No. And it's not all the time you're going to make a good chunk of money in a day. It's not.
Right.
Unless you're King Midas and you have a know-all kind of thing.
But I think that's important because you've talked about it before too, where that understanding the ebb and flow of your annual opportunities, if you will. Like for us in Erie's real estate market, it's a very natural bell curve to the January through December. It's very much a bell curve because of the weather. So if you understand that, it makes it easier. My dad has always told us, plan for 10 months of revenue. Whether that's January, February, or November, December, that might be down. If you plan for 10, you're going to be fine. So that's sage advice.
Fresh, what about you? The same thing, a metric for your business that, people may obsess over that isn't as important or could be misleading.
Good question. I mean, a couple ways you can go with it. I would say that people just kind of things that can be misleading. And again, just speaking specifically to laundry,
To starch or not to starch?
To starch or not to starch. No, I mean, I guess it would be whether I think people paying attention to how can I say this? More of how many clients you have over how much, like what money people,
the revenue,
like what the revenue is, right? So you can have clients, like I could have a book of, I could have 100 clients,
a book of business,
only 25 of them are like subscribers.
Right,
so
right.
I would want to have people like, I would want to focus more on my subscriptions where people are on a recurring basis, opposed to, oh, I've done this amount of transactions.
But yeah,
right?
the
you could have done 100, but I've only done 15, but I have all 15 of those clients spend $500 a month.
Right.
So one of the things I'm thinking about with that, right? You have basically, those are your upper echelon clients, your top tier clients, right? Those would be the ones most willing for you to maybe sub out some of that work because they know and trust you. And the reason I'm saying this is my chiropractor right now, absolutely outstanding. But I was in there waiting last week, and his wife was printing out a letter just to say how he's going through some stem cell work and himself, because of his hands and all the work he does. And so they have 2 other chiropractors that are available and you can work in so it doesn't beat his body up as much. And we're talking about it, and she's like, well, I hope clients understand, and because it gives him relief if others can. And I'm like, well, I can use, Dr. Beth. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, well, yeah, I can't sit here and tell you that I trust Doc's, recommendations for somebody to sub out the work that he would do. So like, I'm a loyal customer. I'll definitely try her out. And she was fantastic. Right. And I mean, I think that's to your point, Fresh, is that sometimes as business owners, we think we have to have our hands on everything. And yet, like, if you say, hey, Dr. Beth is great, she'll take care of you, and then she does, it's like, all right, great. I'd love to see Dr. Miller. If he's too busy, I know that I can see her because he trusts her. So I'm going to trust her too. Do you know what I mean? As a business owner, that's part of the way you need to begin to delegate, is that give them the opportunity and then give them that trust and confidence. And then they have to be willing to take some criticism, as it's not the same as Dr. Miller or whatever else, or try this. But communication, we've talked about before, is so key. And so when you have a client base who really trusts you, those are the ones you can lean on for new ideas and opportunities. And that'll lead me to my last one, because it makes me think of Augie's Pizza. When they decided, Augie's Pizza came out with this like sheet cake pizza. It was like the first time, and they brought it to our family. Maybe they just knew we needed to feed 4 boys, now that I think about it. But they said it was because they wanted to see if we liked it like their regular pizza, because we were loyal customers. They knew we'd give them an honest opinion. Right. But I think if you take these new ideas, ancillary opportunities, side opportunities for revenue, go to your quit looking for new clients. You already have clients. Bounce it off of them, try to treat them with those opportunities, and see if they'll give you honest feedback if it makes sense. So when you had mentioned that and tying in, those subs, if you get a large hospital or something, I mean, start with a delegation of those clients who are subscribers and really already know and trust you, so that you can keep building the trust of the ones who haven't quite done that, if that makes sense.
Laban, my father had wanted to know this. Do you ever come across a business where there could be a conflict of interest, like you mentioned, where you represent the buyer and the seller? And if that happens, how are you able to manage and deal with that?
Yeah, full disclosure first and foremost. And so there's not necessarily a conflict of interest if there's full disclosure and full understanding.
Okay. Right.
I mean, because I own a couple of different businesses, there are transactions that maybe my title company can't do for somebody who was a client. But then we also have other attorneys and title companies, similar to what Fresh is saying. It's like, not that they do it better, but they can do the same thing, but it would be a conflict of interest if we represented both parties in this one case. So there are instances where that's why you want to keep your nose clean in business, so that other people are willing to work with you. And like when you give referrals, people think about where the referral is coming from also. So like you want to have a good reputation yourself if you're relying on, you know what I mean, a third party to handle your client the way you'd want them to be handled, and then fully disclose why it's not you in there or, you know, somebody else, because this is by law the way we have to do it. So I've never put myself in a position of
form or anything. Is that part of it?
There's disclosures, you know, through that process. But like even when I was selling homes, so now I'm the broker, I'm the listing agent, and I'm the seller. You know what I mean? Now I can also represent that buyer, believe it or not, technically speaking. So that's where, as long as there's full disclosure, we have a consumer notice that buyers, sellers sign, where we in Pennsylvania can become dual agents. And that means representing the interests of both parties, which some still feel can conflict, but that's where it comes down to that full disclosure and understanding. You know what I mean? It's all a negotiation. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad has the same thing where he represents the bank and he'll represent the buyer or the seller. So
yeah,
that's why he asked. All right, here's the last video, and I have to change this as well. Finally, we have James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance. For the last 3 years, James has dedicated himself to the art of financial services. He specializes in life insurance and insurance policies. He will save you money, make you a boatload of money, and do so tax-free. He also specializes in retirement planning, because we know the stress that goes into thinking about retirement. How much am I going to need? For how long? Do we have enough? Because fear of the unknown is real. To contact James, go to www.lutherjamesinsurance.com. All right, 4 years. I'll get that
4
right.
years. Yeah. Come on, dude. You know, though, that always, I still have trouble wrapping my mind around that, because like we opened our office officially January 31st of 08. And then Mackenzie was born on April 22nd. And so this year on April 22nd, she will be 18 years old.
Oh, she's got the same birthday as me. Jesus.
April 22nd?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Earth Day, man. That explains so much of you.
I know. It's Earth Day. I always get that Earth Day.
There you go. Yeah. And actually, for this will be 18 years. Every year I plant at least one tree in her honor. So it is one of those things that I kind of took and ran with. But yeah, man, I don't even remember where was I going with that, dude?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So the last question being, James, I'll start with you. For financial goals for 2026, you know, the government still doesn't really have a plan yet for a budget and everything. What would you say your financial goals are? I know you have a new company that's providing you with leads and the business you want to do each week, each month. But if you could pick 2 goals for 2026, what would they be?
One is to increase my my monthly volume.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, you know, not just volume, but revenue.
Right.
You know what I mean? And make it consistent. The other one is I would say build my book of business, but I mean that's
we got to get referrals. We got to get you more referrals.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, you hooked me up with Julius for Sunday, so something will come out of that.
Yes. Yes.
Honestly, it's really to help more families than, you know, as I can.
Yeah.
That's because I think when I do, you know, I do that, everything else takes care of itself.
And people don't know, and they're not educated to life insurance and what it provides and what it offers, and they completely misunderstand it. Yep. And you always are truthful with them, and you will never put them in the wrong plan. You
No.
always try to do what's best for them, which is great.
And I tell people to start as quick as possible. Don't sit on things.
Do not wait.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Fresh, we got to hook you up because I think there's a couple colleges we can try to get you contracts with, maybe to do laundry. I had talked to a friend of mine who's down there in UNC, not Chapel Hill, the other Charlotte, UNC Charlotte.
You talking about Ed, right?
No, not Ed. Ed's at another one, but they're not as big. But UNC Charlotte, he has a contact there where we would try to do something. I don't know how it would work with a college, but that's what I would love to try to get, because a college would be perfect. Maybe it's something where students can sign up and have their laundry done and, sign up.
Well, it's primarily, here's what I would tell you. The main thing we got to do is I really got to push towards doing something on like a family weekend, like it's like the beginning of school.
Right. Yes.
Family weekends. Those got to be the times where parents are in town. Because even some of my college students, I see it's usually the parents. The parents are like, "Hey, my kid needs this," or "My kid, or can you do this?" Or the kid's his machine broke, and these kids they're not signing up. So it's usually the parents, which is preferred, and I enjoy those with the kids because it's usually if you can get everybody, like if they're standing if they're standing in a house, you could get. And a lot of times it'll be like 4 or 5 kids in this house. If I can get 2 or 3 or the whole house, great. Or it's an apartment complex and I can get a dozen people at this apartment complex. You can have everything rolling on one day and that can be part of a route. So those are like the easiest things. Just, we gotta figure out
the face. There's Facebook groups for the parents of these schools. Yeah. That's where I have to post stuff in for your ads in the show. If I can post them in those groups, maybe that'll make a difference because it's worked out with other Facebook groups.
Yeah, I think it can. I think one of the biggest things is if some way, which I haven't figured out how to do it, is because you remember how we used to have the student life building, like when they talk about the services and stuff, like they give you little, it might be an email now that it kind of say, hey, we have these services that's available for you.
Or they let people come in for presentations on what they offer. Like at the first day of school, if they allowed you to come in and do a presentation, this is what we offer at the different colleges. You came in and you talked to the parents and say, hey, we do laundry services. I was thinking about that as well. Just ways to get you in there. But we have a contact at UNC Charlotte, and we're going to try to work something out to see how we can best do this to make it known that your services could be provided there, because that would be easy. It's right there.
Yeah.
Laban, what about yourself for 2026?
As far as financial goals?
Yeah, because the budget's uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty here. What's the interest rates have gone up, which Dad was talking about. He said that interest rates have gone up, which has made things challenging.
Gone up from when though? Gone up from when? I mean,
from last year, from like November, December. They've gone up several percentage points, I guess, higher.
Well, I mean, right now, I know buyers are still in the mid 6s from what I'm seeing. And again, it's higher than they'd like to be. But I mean, we still have the inventory shortage where.
Oh, you do?
I mean, and in fact, one of the things, and I was talking to actually at my chiropractor, I was talking to the wife because they run a business. They own the whole building in the mall, if you will. But it's like we used to do when we had open houses on the regular because they'd sit for more than, a week, 2 weeks. We did Marsh Madness, where we did an open house tournament where if you came to an open house and signed in, you qualified for a drawing and a gas card every week. And then at the end of March, we give away a TV, and we had a local furniture store that would give away a gift certificate. It was awesome. But it's like the market has changed so much. And it's like, do we do a March Madness? Because March is more like spring. If you list your home with us in the month of March, it qualifies you for this, whatever that is, whether it's a discount of some sort, a prize of some sort. But I want to lean on the March Madness for March, to get the real estate market kicking, because I feel like we need more inventory. And so to entice sellers to get their home on the market, it's something that, again, I don't know how effective it can be, but are you looking to just market and be top of mind awareness? Or are you looking for actual returns and enticing people to really bring it to market? And with interest rates where they're at, that does make it difficult for all these people I wanted to incentivize to list their homes. Their homes are probably at 2.75 or 3.1 or 3.5 or 3.99, and it makes it really hard to get too excited to, if you're going to buy something, do so at 6%. So that's kind of, I don't think that can move much quicker, but I can tell you prices can keep going up. They seem to stabilize, but until you find the right home, you're going to keep waiting for inventory. So as far as financial goals, it's more so to stay smart on the expenses, right? We can't control revenue to a certain extent, but you can control your expenses. And so it's just trying to stay trim, do the things that you need to do for business. And I think that's where, and I remember Lucas, who was in marketing, would always say, you really want to blast your marketing when everybody else is not, when it's slower. Like that's when you want to go out there and really pound the pavement with marketing. And so for us, March was always a good time, because by April and May, you're fully into the market. But I mean, we wanted to pick up though in March. I mean, it's already February 18th. You know what I mean? So March is around the corner, and St. Patty's Day, always, that groundhog said mid-March by. So I'm hoping, I don't know if Punxsutawney is ever
Punxsutawney Phil.
So hopefully interest rates improve. Did I share the last cool point that the new Fed chair went to the same high school that Meg went to at Shaker High School in Albany, Loudonville? Yeah.
Went to Shaker?
He went to Shaker High. He went to Loudonville Elementary. He's the one whose last name is Warsh with the upside down M. Marsh, but it's last name Warsh. He's from Albany, Loudonville Elementary, and Meg's aunt taught him. So I am hopeful that as a Shaker Bison alumni, he can cut rates in half. Yeah. But I thought that was a pretty cool thing that he went to the same elementary and high school as Meg. And I don't know, because I think she could handle the Fed chair definitely better than Yellen did.
And I mean, you have always wanted to do this. You haven't done this. Building. Do you see yourself building anything in the near future? Yeah. Because I mean, it's so expensive now to get product.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where we have some land, we have some opportunities. I did have a local builder reach out to me to ask if we had any lots in the area. I don't have any lots for sale. I do own some land to which I could build on.
Correct.
And my wife has wanted to do that as an investment strategy. She has a partner, I think, from California in the franchise mortgage business who builds a home or two every year. And has found a builder that she really relies on. She buys the land, she has him come in and build, and then she sells it. So certain markets you can do that. I mean, again, you have to see what is the return, but typically when you build new construction, 5 years from now, the cost of materials is all up, and that's what helps bring up the value of new construction is the cost of materials are substantially more than when you built it.
Right.
So I don't know. Did I answer that question?
Was you did. Yeah, no, that I was just curious about that. Great show, guys. Great show. Great questions. Great show. I appreciate it. James Whitfield, Luther James Insurance, Nedvonne Young, Fresh himself, Fresh Fold Laundry Co., Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And it's myfreshfold.com. My-freshbowl.com. I got it in the chat. I'm gonna redo it right after this. And I'm gonna have the website up to look at it. And James, I'm redoing, put 4 years experience. So we'll get that. Julius was the only one I got right. And the king of real estate in Erie, Pennsylvania, Laban Marsh Real Estate.
I can't wait to get this speed suit off. Can't wait.
Oh my God, I can't believe he did the whole show in the speed
suit.
Suit,
the speed.
It's gotta
be the UC, baby.
That's great. That is great.
It's a great piece of memorabilia right there.
So much better than getting yelled at by Joe D on the Husky.
Dude, I'd love to be on a show with Joe D at some point. He wouldn't remember me at all, but
no, he would. He's
a stat guy, so he might.
He has a mind like an elephant. He was calling out UConn basketball games where they got screwed in 94, 95, 96.
Wow.
It's incredible. Because tonight Emeka Okafor is getting his jersey retired.
Oh, nice.
Dude, how cool is that, man?
He's seeing the event.
Oh.
And I told him how Emeka used to always hang out in my apartment.
Yeah.
Because he would do his homework and do his laundry. Because we had a washer and dryer in Hilltop Apartments. And Ed and I used to sit there with our shirts off playing Madden. And he would just be disgusted by it, and there'd be DPO boxes. And then I said, mention one word to Emeka, Providence. Because we took Emeka out for the first time in his life. And we went to Providence to see a friend of mine there. Yes. And
how'd he do?
I can't say it on air. Let's put it
there.
There
you go. Interesting.
I had a friend of mine.
I cannot say it on there.
Sounds like he did well.
Mecca.
He has memories. He has memories for life.
Yes.
Well, and they just honored Hashim Thabit last week. At Ring of Honor. I mean, he was great. Yeah, it's been fun to watch UConn. I hope both the men and women carry out their seedings here in the tournament, but it's going to be a fun Marsh Madness. Yeah.
You ever see Emeka just say "foxy lady" to him? He'll know what that means. All right. So I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them back at life. I'm Steve Cully. I'm running for Congress.
Don't.